Hey, yo, it's Megamouth, and today I actually have a video game review for Galactic Pinball on the Virtual Boy. Playing this one in modern times on the Nintendo Switch 2 video game system, have the peripherals, so I'm actually able to play the games. The Virtual Boy came out in 1995, and it was a legendary, spectacular failure for a lot of reasons. Probably one of the main reasons is that it's pretty much only color palette is only red and black. Highly controversial decision back then, but that was the best the technology could do. Um, it was an odd, weird little headset. Like you had to kind of lean over and play the system kind of at an angle. It wasn't good for your back. It wasn't good for your eyes. There's a lot of reasons why the Virtual Boy system in and of itself failed. But I remember playing the demo units and like service merchandise. It was a retailer that used to exist in the '90s, and man, I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. Especially the space game where you would go, fly through stages and shoot up enemies and that sort of thing. And one of the first games I played on the re-release on the Nintendo Switch 2 is the this Galactic Pinball game, and and honestly, I didn't really know what to expect from it. I thought it would probably be just like a regular pinball game, and in some ways. The more I played it, some of my expectations were actually exceeded, and I was also at the same time a little bit disappointed because ultimately, in terms of like a good pinball game, like if you play a real pinball game, like in an arcade or something like that, I guess it does replicate the experience a little bit, but ultimately, the ball was a little bit slow. The reaction of the gosh, I can't even remember what the actual let's call them pedals, what the pedals are called. Um, it was all just a little bit off. I mean, the gameplay, it had a few bonus features on some of the stages, which made it a little bit fun. Like in some areas, like you would shoot asteroids and things like that. There was a good 3D effect, at least from like a mid '90s perspective. But ultimately, even though I played it for probably about an hour and I did enjoy it enough to keep playing it, would I really want to go back in modern times and play it, extensively? No, there's certainly better, pinball video games out there. There's certainly, honestly, real pinball in real life is a lot better than, video game pinball, just being honest there. But, ultimately, if I looked at this through a 1995 perspective, I would actually say it was a really good, really unique video game. For modern times, I think it's a good historical piece. It does, it's a perfectly acceptable pinball experience. But, ultimately, I don't know. I would say that in terms of like modern enjoyment, it's a perfectly good video game. Uh, well, of course, your eyes are still going to burn because it's a Virtual Boy. The longer you play this one, you really do need to take like a break every 15 minutes. But ultimately, I would say that in terms of a video game, I'll give it two different scores. From like a 1995 perspective, I would say it was probably a really good version of pinball back then, probably like an 8 out of 10. For modern times, I have to knock at least a little bit off of it. I think it's a good historical curiosity, but really ultimately nothing much more than that. Would I ever go back and particularly want to play this one again? Not really. So I'll give it a score of 6.5 out of 10. This is Mega Mouse signing out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.